Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. As I mentioned, we're stepping into more complexity. That's finance. So now we went from beginner, say we're probably in the third inning of 9. So just be patient. Using the Eurodollar futures to extend the SOFR zero curve. I just like SOFR. Why? It's just easier to say than SOFR. SOFR is just my language. I don't know if anyone else uses it, but that's what I use. So we're going to use Eurodollar futures to extend the SOFR zero curve. You're saying, what are you talking about, Williams? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. The SOFR zero curve out to 1 year is determined by the 1, 3, 6, and 12-month SOFR rates. Well, we were using zeros, but the SOFR SOFR rate, they have their own dynamics. After the convexity adjustment has been put into place, Eurodollar futures are most often used to extend the zero curve. That means if we're looking for forward pricing, and I'm guessing on this one, we want to take this out further than this 12 months. So after the convexity adjustment, we want to extend the pricing past this particular curve. So the zero futures are most often used to extend the zero curve. That's what we were doing with Treasury. Suppose that the if Eurodollar futures contract matures at time T, I is equal 1, 2, 3, it is usually assumed that the forward interest rate calculated with if futures contract applies to the period T of I to T of I plus 1. In practice, this is close to true. This enables hey, guess what? Bootstrap procedure. You're asking, all right, Williams, why did you trap us in section 3 with bootstrapping? Well, welcome to reality. I'm going to introduce bootstrapping in application. So in practice, this is close to true. This enables a bootstrap procedure to be used to determine zero rates. There we go. This is not foreign to you now. I introduced it. It took a little while to get here, but here we are. Suppose that F of O is the forward rate calculated from the if Eurodollar futures contract, and R of J is the zero rate for maturity T. For equation R of V, doesn't this look familiar? It sure does. So it's not new to you. We went over this how many times? Okay, probably 3 or 4 times. So go back to session 3 if you need to and review it. Here's the equation so that F equals R, and then we did this repeatedly. And we went out to, remember we did that 6 month and 1 year and 1.5 year and 2 and 2.5 and 3 year. And then this is just a repeat. So the 400-day SOFR zero rate has been calculated at 4.8%. with continuous compounding, and from Eurodollar futures quotes, it has been calculated that A, the forward rate for a 90-day period beginning in 400 days is 5.30 with continuous compounding. The forward rate for a 90-day period beginning in 491 days is 5.5 with continuous compounding, and the forward rate for a 90-day period beginning 589 is 5.6%. Using the formula just above, the 491-day forward rate is 0.53 times 91 plus 0.048 times 400 divided by 491 equals 0.4893. There's the formula. And then likewise, we can also include the second forward rate to obtain the 589-day rate. 55 times 98 plus 489 times 491 divided by 589. So this is a little bit different, but the same practical application. The next forward rate of 560 would be used to determine the zero curve out to the maturity of the next Eurodollar futures contract. Note that even though the rate underlying the Eurodollar futures contract is a 90-day rate, it is assumed to apply to the 91 or 98-day elapsing between Eurodollar contract maturities. So we're going to use this 56898 plus this, and this, come up with a 513. My suggestion is to open up session 3, the spreadsheet. As I mentioned, every session has access to the spreadsheet. Just open up the spreadsheet. It'll be within your course. Go down and it'll say attachment, or it'll say additional information or something to that effect. And all you do is you double click and you'll be able to download this information. You may not be able to print it, Or if you do print it, it'll probably say Frugal Finance across this entire area. Why? Well, because that's just the way it is. So anyway, get used to a lot of different variations. And here we were extending the SOFR zero curve. And you're going to be able to do this with any instrument now with the bootstrap method. We're going to get into a more complex bootstrap approach. I'm just going to tell you up front here when we get into swaps. And it's going to be similar in terms of application, but the math is a little bit complex. So much so, I had to outsource it to a third-party source, and it's an online source, and I'll tell you who it is. And I strongly recommend it because sometimes you can stare at something for hours and go, I just can't figure it out. With that being said, I'm going to end this. We have one more futures-related session here. Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. Thanks for watching.